Meet Street, Breakdown.
Hi, Rap Attack.
Hi. Rough. Hip hop. Meet Street. The king of the beef. I can smell the stench from across the street and ha.
We're here in Sydney.
Yes.
So you are known as Rap Attack. Where's that name from?
Well, it comes from a song, Houdini's Mr. Magic's Wand. Back in the day when I got dubbed that name, we weren't allowed to pick our names in hip hop. I'm like the grandmother of Aussie hip hop here. And so people were trying to think of a name for me, and I had no choice in this name. I was popping on top of a table. I'm also a popper and a b-girl, and I hadn't started rapping at that time. Maybe some freestyle stuff, but not taking it seriously. And it would have been early 80s. And yeah, I was popping on top of this table in a club, and that song started to play, Houdini's Mr. Magic's Wand. And my sister she yelled out and she said, "That's it, that's your name, that's it." And I thought it was the corniest, awful name. I just thought it sounds so commercial. And being a hip hopper for a number of years prior to that, commercialism was the last thing I wanted attached to me. And but it took about a couple of years and everybody calling me that name, and then I had this dream and I was Rap Attack, so it's stuck since sometime early 80s.
Main Street is a lesson too, because you can't let the streets beg you.
You accepted your name in the end?
Yeah, I always turn around, doesn't matter, it's been over 30 years.
Cool.
People I haven't seen for a long time, that's how I identify.
Well, a picture can express 1,000 words to describe all the beauty of life you give. And if the world was yours to do, all right, now you display a better place to live.
What do you think of the hip hop movement at the moment? Like the mainstream stuff, what people are listening and what's in the charts?
Well, mainstream is mainstream. It's like anything. It's rubbish. It's degrading on every level. It's dumbing down everybody, not just true hip hoppers, but everybody. It's just like pop music, and I know people love to listen and watch and participate with pop music and stuff like that. And even my best male friend is a pop singer, but it dumbs you down. It's not really saying anything. It's superficial. Focusing on things that are just not important. And I mean, I don't mind fun music, don't get me wrong, I'm not like the fun police or anything like that. But yeah, I want that social conscience thing, and yeah, you can have some fun stuff, but don't dumb yourself down, don't dumb other people down. People are a lot smarter than they give themselves credit for, than what they're told. So, yeah.
Where the colours would swirl and the animals would grow in peace and harmony, and the walls are not displayed with flesh for sale or pets for company.
Do you think hip hop can be successful with a meaningful message?
Yes, very definitely. I mean, the underground scene is extremely strong. Doesn't matter what people say. There's a lot of people that are making money. People like KRS-One, Public Enemy, and they're saying important things and they're making money. I wish I was, but that's a whole nother thing. And in a sense, hip-hop led me to be vegan. Because I started to see, I remember when there was a bit of a mixture of things going on with hip-hop. There was some fun things going on, like late 70s, early 80s, but in the sense of you've got Sugar Hill Gang that were, a lot of their stuff was fun. But then there started to be, okay, you've got the social conscience stuff, but then unfortunately there was the sexism was creeping in, but I understood it because being primarily a phenomenon from America, I understood that they were going through their own struggles, and they were fighting within their community as well, because that often happens when you're oppressed. There's infighting, so you turn on those that are closest to you. So I was kind of seeing all of this sort of stuff happening, and I thought, I've got to answer to that, because I'm involved in hip hop, even though this is an so-called Australian experience. I don't call myself Australian, but I thought I've got to somehow answer that, because people are like, how can you be involved in hip hop and this misogynistic shit is coming out? And I was like, well, misogyny exists everywhere, but I've got to answer it. So in a sense, that made me a rapper, and in a sense it made me vegan, because I was seeing at the same time all the oppressions that happen, you know, sexism, racism, what's it called again? I forgot. Speciesism. So I was seeing all those things at the same time, and I was like, okay, this is a good vehicle for me. Hip hop became a really good vehicle.
I never knew I loved till I saw your face. There'll never be one to take your place. Cause each and every time you touch the earth's floor, the poetry of your movement no one's known before.
So you mentioned that you don't refer to yourself as an Australian. So what do you refer yourself as, and why not an Australian?
Well, leading up to Australia being federated, you've got things like the White Australia policy, the oppression of Aboriginal people, of which my mother's family is descended from. You've got all those types of things, and I can't call myself Australian because my ancestors predate that word. That word is offensive to me. No one has actually apologised straight out, even though there was the apology by Kevin Rudd. What people don't understand is that apology was to the stolen generation, not to all Aboriginal people. And nothing has happened as a result of that, and we still live in a racist country. I'm not going to call myself as Australian when all that exists. And my history has many thousands of years, and the word Australia has been only decades long. So it's disrespectful. So I will say I'm from a place that's called Australia,
Yeah.
but to call myself Australian, no, that's incorrect.
You would love to have the freedom to run in the parks that I walk past across the road where I see dogs romping. It's called wet.
Do you feel like Aboriginals are being respected in Australia?
Very definitely not. People are not seeing, they're not engaging with Aboriginal people, they're not, obviously with the government system, things are not working well. The stolen generation thing, it hasn't ended, it's gotten worse. There's actually, statistically, they know that more children are being taken now by the government than in the so-called stolen generation. New South Wales is the worst, which was a shocking revelation to me. I do a lot of stuff around Aboriginal rights as well. Then we've got all the mining and lots of big mining companies going into traditional lands that were supposedly handed back to traditional owners, and they're bribing people to actually mine in that location, and it could be sacred lands, there could be sacred sites with all sorts of cave paintings or etchings or whatever, and the mining companies are not respecting all of that sort of thing. Very well documented. Then you've got Aboriginal people generally will die about 20 years younger than the mainstream population, because they're eating different food than what was traditionally eaten, isolation, not having medical care. Then you've got depression because of multiple generations of people that don't know where they came from. They don't have their family no support system. A lot of people are alone, begging on the streets. If you walk down the street of Newtown, usually you'll see at least 5 Aboriginal people begging for money here. Not all of them are homeless here in Sydney, but they often live with mental illness, and yeah, they're often abused and treated like absolute crap. Even though I was raised white, I don't often get that type of thing. People can't see that I'm Aboriginal.
Yeah.
But I feel for everybody that I come across. You know, I'm like, wow, my life could have been so much worse. So much worse. And simply because of, you know, a look, if you will. And I've had a lot of racism, don't get me wrong. But not to the level of if my nose looked a certain way, if my skin was even darker than what it is, if I talked a certain way. And it's all so crazy.
Cause this life must live, death must die, and tears shall fall from the living eye.
That's a lot. There's a lot of issues. Like, is there a solution to this, or you know, is it just step by step trying to rectify things? Like, what can we do?
I think it's a matter of people speaking up every time they hear something ignorant. Here in Australia, unfortunately, there are a lot of people that will mouth off and not even think about what they're saying, and they get upset because they say, but, oh, that's all being politically correct. No, that's not part of the equation. They need to speak up every time they hear something. Sometimes I hear things from people and I speak up every time, because some people, they think, oh, it's okay, I'm in a majority white atmosphere here. There's no one Aboriginal, so I can say whatever the hell I want. Excuse me, even if I didn't know about my Aboriginality, because I didn't for a long time, I'm still speaking up. That is just wrong. I don't care who you're talking bad about, whatever nationality. I don't care. I'm going to be the one that speaks up.
Loving alone and now you're dead, and they still can't get you out of their head, huh? Maybe if you were an animal born in the wild, you would have experienced it.
So do you think vegans should be speaking up about this as well as animals?
Absolutely. And I got slammed on Facebook. I was talking about that earlier because I cross-posted something about intersectionality and Thug Kitchen. I got slammed by all the white vegans, and they gave me so much shit about it. They even private messaged me, and I was like, what the hell are you thinking? What movement are we in? You know, this is, to me, includes all beings, all sentient beings. It doesn't matter what you look like, what type of lifestyle you have, or whatever. Gay, straight, trans, people of colour, women. You've got to be talking up for everybody. Non-human animals, we're Homo sapiens. I don't understand why a lot of vegans are not getting that. And it's crazy, white vegans, and I don't mean to, you know, slam anybody, but they've got to wake up.
Because your factory farm, you had no life, you didn't touch the green, not one. Tell me who's going to dream the impossible dream of the freedom that humans have seen. How
do we get them to wake up? And is it our job to wake them up, or is it for them to actually realise that they need to go do their research?
It's both. It's both. I've noticed that there's some people, especially if I see them one-on-one, and if I say something that they've never heard from someone before, see, this is the thing sometimes, they think to themselves, okay, now I have permission to say what I really think. I don't think that they're trying to just be nice. This is just my observation. So I think that they can then just walk away from that and process it further. I've even had people say to me weeks later after I said something, whether it be in person or on Facebook, and they've said, you know, I had a bit of a think about what you said, and I didn't realise, because I grew up with that privilege, I didn't realise and I'm really sorry about that. And some people have gone on to do really good things with different communities. So I'm surprised by it, but it does happen, and you've got to chip away at it sometimes.
We take it for granted that whatever we want is within reach and can be dreamed. Bumps on the sidewalk, up the street, abandoned buildings, bricks of concrete.
So some people say like the whole intersectionality is just a distraction from the main cause of saving the animals. What's your response to that?
Yeah, it's nice and cushy to believe that kind of thing. Sometimes if it's a woman, I say, well, how would you feel if it was sexism instead? You know, how would you feel if we were talking about animals instead? You know, you understand that there's oppression there, don't you? So why not people of colour? Why not? At first it's sometimes hard for them to grasp, but you never really know. You've got to say it anyway. Even if you do get the anger and the opposition, you've got to be brave. And you've just got to do it anyway. For goodness sake, we're not living in a place where I can get murdered for saying what I'm saying. I mean, it's remotely possible.
You see the stray cats fighting for territory, food and a place to sleep. I'm hanging out tough, rotten they drive, running wild in the town of the neon light.
So there's quite a lot of things that you deal with, like knowing the facts about animal cruelty, knowing like there's oppression all over the world, there's sexism, there's homophobia. There's a lot of issues that everyone's trying to get over and, you know, overcome. But how do you manage like to just wake up every day, you know, keep trying, keep challenging, you know, keep your activism going?
I think with me I've become a lot more positive, and to some people they might go, really? Because some of my songs can get quite aggressive, and I think I'm more assertive than aggressive, to put it nicely. But it's writing all the rhymes that I do and performing. I don't know, I feel better and better and better. The more years I've been vegan, I think eating flesh and dairy and eggs, I really understand the whole energetic thing that I had this anger, and it's going down and down and down and down the more years I've been vegan, and we're talking a 30-year journey. I was vegetarian a little bit before that, but yeah, there's something in it about the energy difference of eating plants rather than sentient beings and their products. I can't explain it, I just feel more positive.
The place up all or stand in the hall, you gotta make something out of nothing at all. I'm sitting in the classroom learning the rules and it says you come from the street.
Who are your role models in the vegan world?
I don't know, maybe it's all the people, or some of the people, I should say, after slamming some people. Some of the younger vegans really amaze me. There's just so many good people doing things. I'm not really much for idolisation. I do like a fair bit of things that some of the vegan hip-hoppers are doing, like, you know, KRS-One, etc., Mos Def, etc. But there's some things I disagree with what they do, but you can agree to disagree on some things, you know. I'm very straight edge, so I kind of can't understand the whole drug-taking thing, and I don't really get that because a lot of this stuff was produced to dumb us down, you know, for a really long time, and I don't get why you would put that toxic stuff and toxify your head and toxify your body. We need to be strong in order to get this social justice movement happening. And all those things just weaken you. So I feel I have to be the role model. If I want and if people want, then I have to do it. And not rely on anybody else. But I I must admit, people like who you previously interviewed, Elizabeth Usher, who's MC Pony, she just does so much stuff, and we've collaborated on a couple of things that you'll see on the Vegan Foods channel about dairy. And we've got in mind a few things in the future as well. So, and I'm producing a show called Rap Attack Vegan Hip Hopper that I hope to put on the TVS channel before the government bloody well takes it and sells the bandwidth to someone else. But they're moving online as well, so it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm going to have lots of different things on that channel.
They can't be wrong in the hollowed hall, so my world turned into a brick wall. Heart of a lion, the courage of three, the mind of a woman much wiser than me.
Why did you become vegan?
Oh, I thought it was for my health at the time. I didn't know the word vegan when I became vegan, but I found out that we were herbivores biologically, and I was reading a lot of herbal books at that time, and I was trying to fix all of these health problems that I had that were quite dramatic, and I nearly died the year I became vegan. But at the same time, I was a very sensitive person, and I lived on a farm for some time during my teenage years, and I saw family members killing animals in front of me, and it really shocked me, it upset me. If I had have known that I could be a plant eater and not participate in that horror, then I would have done it then. But also at the same time, I see that I didn't have the strength of character, I didn't have the strength, the mental strength to be who I am today. So, as Elizabeth said, the only regret that I have is I didn't become vegan earlier. If I had have been a stronger person. But yeah, it's been an involvement. And there was a few things I didn't know way back. I used to wear second-hand leather. I was like saying things, no, I'm only doing this as a diet, you know, I'm not concerned with all that stuff. And people were saying all sorts of things to me, but then I would make fun of people every time they put their fork in a piece of flesh, and I go, moo, and stuff like that. So that's why I don't dismiss plant-based when people say that they're plant-based, because maybe underneath mentally they're telling themselves something else, and they know. Because I think there's something about when you stop eating flesh and dairy and eggs and honey, there's an awakening, no matter what you're saying. The mouth is saying one thing, but there's something else going on in the heart and the mind.
You're the soul of a sister who won't come back. We died in my street, or brought to my street in a sack.
Do you have any tips for people that want to go vegan?
Just go ahead and don't be afraid. Don't think of it as a diet. You won't go wrong. Just eat as many fruit and vegetables as possible. Just go for it, throw yourself in there, get on social media and find other vegans to help and support you if you really think that you're suffering from something medical, and get that out of the road. And then, you know, reconnect with animals as well, reconnect with nature. We are an animal. Don't think of yourself as separate. You're not this separate, superior being. You're absolutely equal, and you're equal to everybody, no matter what colour, if you're gay, whatever, straight, whatever, it doesn't matter. Person of colour, just connect with people.
Oh, that's great. So thank you. Rap Attack. Nice one. Cool.
Cause I'm caught in the rat race, looking for my own space. There's gotta be a better place for you and me. You search for justice, and what do you find? You find just us on the abattoir line. You find us sweating from dawn to dusk. There's no justice, there's harm. Just us, So on my street they sell flesh, race flesh, and eat flesh store. $1 million gift on a humans released, and yet you got killed for nothing at all. So after this there'll be no more hard times, no more bad times, no more pain, no more chump change, none of that bull. So all you hip hop heads, get on up and let's take it to the top where we belong. Cause the age of the mixed street wave is here, everybody sing along. Now come on, say ho.